What if I told you that doing this kettlebell workout could build more total body muscle in 3 weeks than most men build in 3 months of traditional split routines? This isn't about isolation exercises or complicated programs. These 6 kettlebell movements activate 87% of your body's total muscle mass in a single workout, while forcing muscle growth through unique loading patterns that dumbbells and barbells simply cannot replicate. We're talking about complete body transformation from a workout that takes less than 45 minutes and can be done anywhere with just 1 or 2 kettlebells. Are you ready for some serious gains? Let's get started. Exercise 1. Double kettlebell front squat. Ever notice how some guys train legs separately from upper body and wonder why they never look balanced or athletic? Most men waste time on body part splits when the most effective muscle-building exercises force your entire body to work as one integrated unit. The double kettlebell front squat isn't just another leg exercise. It's the single most effective total body movement for triggering massive growth hormone release, while simultaneously building your quads, glutes, core, upper back, and shoulders all in one movement. Research shows that compound exercises involving over 70% of total muscle mass create a hormonal environment that builds muscle everywhere, not just in the working muscles. A study in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that men who performed front-loaded squats showed 47% higher growth hormone levels compared to those doing machine-based leg exercises. Here's why this exercise transforms your entire physique. The front-loaded position forces your core to work at maximum capacity to prevent you from folding forward. Your upper back and shoulders have to maintain constant tension to hold the kettlebells in the rack position. Your quads and glutes drive the movement while your entire posterior chain stabilizes your spine. This integrated demand creates the kind of total body tension that triggers muscle growth from head to toe. From a functional standpoint, this builds the kind of leg strength and core stability you need to lift heavy objects confidently, maintain perfect posture under load, and move with power in any direction. Strong legs combined with a bulletproof core is the foundation of every impressive physique and athletic capability. Here's how to perform the double kettlebell front squat correctly. Clean 2 kettlebells to the rack position at your shoulders. Your elbows should be tucked close to your ribs. Stand with feet shoulder width apart or slightly wider. Keep your chest up and core braced throughout. Push your hips back and spread your knees apart. Lower into a deep squat while keeping your torso upright. The kettlebells should never pull you forward. Drive through your entire foot to stand back up. Squeeze your glutes hard at the top. Maintain constant tension in your upper back. Beginner option. Start with 1 kettlebell in the goblet position to learn the movement pattern. Progress to 2 lighter kettlebells before using heavier loads. You can also reduce the depth initially until your mobility improves. Do 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps with challenging weight. Rest 2 to 3 minutes between sets. If you're rounding forward, the weight is too heavy or your core isn't engaged properly. But if you think legs and core alone build an impressive physique, you're missing the explosive pulling movement that builds your entire posterior chain while incinerating calories. Moving on to number 2, the kettlebell swing. And this is the explosive movement that builds more total body power and muscle endurance than any other single exercise while simultaneously torching body fat and conditioning your cardiovascular system. Most men separate their cardio from their strength training and waste hours doing both poorly. The kettlebell swing combines explosive strength development with metabolic conditioning in one brutally effective movement that builds muscle while keeping you lean. Research shows that kettlebell swings can burn up to 20 calories per minute while activating your glutes, hamstrings, lower back, lats, shoulders, and core simultaneously. A 2021 study found that men who perform swing-based training 3 times per week gained significant muscle mass in their posterior chain while reducing body fat by an average of 4% in just 6 weeks. Here's why this exercise transforms your body. The explosive hip extension required for proper swings builds powerful glutes and hamstrings, while the dynamic nature creates muscle damage and metabolic stress that triggers growth. Your entire back works to stabilize the weight while your core prevents your spine from flexing. The cardiovascular demand keeps your body fat low, allowing the muscle you're building to actually show. This movement develops the explosive hip power you need for sprinting, jumping, and any athletic movement while building the kind of lean, muscular physique that looks impressive and performs exceptionally. Strong posterior chain development is what separates athletic physiques from soft, undefined bodies. Here's how to perform the kettlebell swing correctly. Stand with feet shoulder width apart, kettlebell on the ground. Hinge at your hips and grab the kettlebell with both hands. Hike the kettlebell back between your legs aggressively. Explosively drive your hips forward to swing the bell to chest height. Your arms are just ropes connecting your hips to the weight. Let gravity bring the kettlebell back down. Immediately load the next rep by hinging at the hips. Keep your core tight and back flat throughout. The power comes entirely from hip extension. Stop at chest height. This is Russian style. Beginner option. Start with a lighter kettlebell and focus on mastering the hip hinge pattern. Practice explosive hip drive without hyperextending your lower back. You can also perform deadlifts first to groove the hinge pattern. Do 4 sets of 15 to 20 reps with a weight that allows explosive movement. Rest 90 seconds between sets. If your lower back is sore instead of your glutes and hamstrings, your technique needs work. Now, I'm about to show you the pressing movement that builds shoulders, chest, and triceps, while developing the core stability that protects your spine. At number 3, we have the kettlebell clean and press, and this is the upper bodybuilder that combines explosive pulling power with overhead pressing strength to develop your shoulders, chest, triceps, upper back, and core all in one fluid movement. Most men do isolation exercises for shoulders and wonder why they never build that impressive upper body development. The clean and press forces multiple muscle groups to work together through a full range of motion, creating the kind of integrated strength that builds muscle and looks athletic. Research shows that overhead pressing movements activate 78% more total muscle mass than isolation exercises. Men who performed clean and press variations showed significantly greater shoulder development, pressing strength, and core stability compared to those doing machine-based shoulder work. Here's why this exercise transforms your upper body. The clean portion builds explosive pulling strength in your upper back and traps while teaching your body to absorb force smoothly. The press portion develops your shoulders, upper chest, and triceps while forcing your core to stabilize against the asymmetrical load. The combination creates unprecedented muscle activation that builds impressive shoulders and arms. This movement develops the pressing strength you need to put objects overhead confidently, the upper back development that creates width and thickness, and the core stability that prevents injury during real-world lifting. Strong shoulders and a powerful core are essential for every impressive physique. Here's how to perform the kettlebell clean and press correctly. Start with the kettlebell on the ground in front of you. Hinge at your hips and explosively clean the bell to your shoulder. The kettlebell should land softly in the rack position. Your elbow stays tucked close to your ribs. From the rack position, press the kettlebell straight overhead. Your bicep should finish next to your ear. Keep your core braced to prevent leaning backward. Lower the kettlebell back to the rack position with control. You can drop it back down or perform another press. Complete all reps on one side before switching. Beginner option. Practice the clean and press separately. Master the clean motion with a light weight before adding the press. You can also perform these from the rack position initially, skipping the clean until your technique improves. Do 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps per arm with challenging weight. Rest 2 minutes between sets. If the kettlebell bangs your forearm during the clean, you're letting it get too far from your body. Coming up next is the rowing variation that builds back thickness and width while developing the pulling strength that balances all your pressing work. Our 4th exercise is the Renegade row. And this might be the most underrated total bodybuilder that combines anti-rotation core work with heavy back training to develop your lats, rhomboids, traps, and entire core, while simultaneously building chest and shoulder stability. Most men do standard rows and miss the incredible core component that makes this variation so effective for total body development. The Renegade row forces you to stabilize in a plank position while rowing heavy weight, creating maximum muscle activation throughout your entire torso. Research shows that Renegade rows activate 63% more core muscles than standard rowing variations while building comparable back strength. Men who incorporated Renegade rows showed dramatic improvements in both back development and rotational core strength that transferred to better performance in every other exercise. Here's why this exercise transforms your physique. You're building back thickness and width through the rowing motion while simultaneously developing core stability that prevents rotation. Your chest and shoulders work overtime to maintain the plank position. The anti-rotation demand builds the kind of functional core strength that protects your spine and improves your performance in every movement pattern. This movement develops the pulling strength that creates back thickness, the core stability that prevents injury, and the integrated strength that makes you genuinely capable. A thick, powerful back combined with bulletproof core stability is what creates that impressive V-taper everyone wants. Here's how to perform the Renegade row correctly. Start in a plank position with hands on 2 kettlebells. Your feet should be wider than hip width for stability. Keep your body in a straight line from head to heels. Row 1 kettlebell up toward your hip by driving your elbow back. Your hips should stay level, don't let them rotate. Lower the kettlebell with control back to the ground. Immediately row the opposite side. Your core fights to prevent rotation throughout. Keep your shoulders packed down and back. Breathe consistently. Don't hold your breath. Beginner option. Start with lighter kettlebells than you'd use for standard rows. You can also perform these from your knees initially or with your feet wider apart for more stability. Master the anti-rotation component before adding heavy weight. Do 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps per side, focusing on keeping your hips level throughout. Rest 90 seconds between sets. If your hips are rotating excessively, go lighter and focus on core engagement. But if you think upper body work alone builds complete development, wait until you see the unilateral leg movement that builds massive strength while fixing imbalances. Moving to number 5, we have the single arm kettlebell lunge, and this is the leg builder that develops your quads, glutes, and hamstrings, while creating unprecedented core stability. Demands that build your entire midsection simultaneously. Most men do bilateral leg exercises and allow their dominant side to compensate, missing the strength imbalances that lead to injury and uneven development. The single arm lunge forces each leg to work independently while the offset loading creates maximum core engagement. Research shows that single arm loaded lunges activate 49% more oblique and deep core muscles than standard lunges. Men who performed offset lunging patterns showed significantly better single leg strength, improved balance, and reduced injury rates compared to those doing only bilateral leg work. Here's why this exercise transforms your lower body. Each leg has to support your entire body weight plus the kettlebell load without help from the other side. The single arm loading pulls you toward one side, forcing your core to work at maximum capacity to keep you upright. Your glutes, quads, and hamstrings build strength and size while your core develops the stability that transfers to every movement. This movement develops the single leg strength you need to move confidently in any direction, the core stability that protects your spine during asymmetrical loading, and the balanced leg development that prevents injury. Strong, balanced legs combined with rotational core strength creates genuine athletic capability. Here's how to perform the single arm kettlebell lunge correctly. Hold one kettlebell in your right hand at your side. Stand with feet hip-width apart. Step forward with your left leg into a lunge position. Lower your back knee toward the ground with control. Keep your torso upright. Fight the pull of the kettlebell. Your front shin should stay relatively vertical. Drive through your front heel to return to standing. The kettlebell stays at your side throughout. Complete all reps on one side before switching. Your core prevents you from leaning toward the weight. Beginner option. Start with bodyweight lunges to master the movement pattern. Progress to holding a very light kettlebell before adding serious load. You can also perform reverse lunges, which are slightly easier to control. Do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps per leg, switching the kettlebell to the opposite hand for each leg. Rest 90 seconds between sets. If you're leaning excessively, the weight is too heavy. And finally, let's get into the total body movement that builds muscle from your shoulders to your core while developing explosive power. Finally, we have the kettlebell snatch, and this is the explosive total body movement that combines pulling power, overhead strength, and dynamic hip drive to build muscle throughout your entire body while developing the kind of explosive capability that makes you feel and move like an athlete. Most men never train explosive movements and wonder why they feel slow and weak despite having decent strength numbers. The kettlebell snatch forces you to generate maximum power from your hips while coordinating your entire body through a complex movement pattern that builds muscle and athleticism simultaneously. Research shows that ballistic exercises like the snatch create unique muscle damage patterns that trigger significant growth in fast-twitch muscle fibers. Men who incorporated snatch training showed improvements in total body power, shoulder development, grip strength, and cardiovascular capacity that far exceeded traditional strength training alone. Here's why this exercise transforms your entire physique. The snatch requires explosive hip extension that builds your glutes and hamstrings, dynamic pulling that develops your upper back and traps, overhead lockout that strengthens your shoulders and triceps, and constant core engagement that builds your entire midsection. The explosive nature creates metabolic stress that builds muscle while keeping you lean. This movement develops the explosive power that makes you athletic, the overhead strength that builds impressive shoulders, and the work capacity that allows you to train harder and recover faster. Explosive power combined with overhead strength creates the kind of physique that looks capable and performs exceptionally. Here's how to perform the kettlebell snatch correctly. Start with the kettlebell on the ground in front of you. Hinge at your hips and explosively swing the bell back. Drive your hips forward powerfully as the bell rises. As it reaches chest height, pull your elbow high and back, punch your hand through and lock the bell out overhead. Your arm should finish fully extended with bicep by your ear. The bell should flip smoothly around your hand at the top. Lower the kettlebell back down with control. You can drop it to swing position or bring it to your shoulder first. Complete all reps on one side before switching. Beginner option. Start with high pulls to learn the explosive hip drive and high elbow pull pattern. Progress to hang snatches, starting from the swing position. Before doing snatches from the ground, use a very light kettlebell initially to master the technique. Do 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps per arm with moderate weight. Rest 2 minutes between sets. If the kettlebell is banging your forearm or wrist, your technique needs refinement. The bell should float smoothly into the overhead position. You don't need complicated programs or hours in the gym to build serious muscle. This complete kettlebell workout hits every major muscle group while building the kind of functional strength and athletic capability that makes you genuinely impressive. The power of this workout lies in its efficiency and muscle-building stimulus. Each exercise forces multiple muscle groups to work together under tension, creating the kind of integrated demand that triggers growth throughout your entire body. Unlike body part splits that isolate muscles, this full-body approach creates a massive hormonal response that builds muscle everywhere. You're training your body the way it's designed to function, as one integrated unit, rather than disconnected parts. The 3-week time frame isn't arbitrary. Research shows that full-body training performed 3 times per week produces rapid adaptations in muscle protein synthesis, neural drive, and work capacity. Your body responds quickly to this kind of comprehensive stimulus because you're hitting every muscle group with optimal frequency while allowing adequate recovery between sessions. The variety of movement patterns prevents adaptation and keeps muscle growth occurring consistently. Here's your complete muscle-building workout to perform 3 times per week. Double kettlebell front squat, 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Kettlebell swing, 4 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Kettlebell clean and press, 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps per arm. Renegade row, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps per side. Single arm kettlebell lunge, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps per leg. Kettlebell snatch, 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps per arm. Training guidelines. Perform this workout on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with complete rest days between sessions. Rest 2 to 3 minutes between sets for the front squat, clean and press, and snatch. Rest 90 seconds between sets for swings, renegade rows, and lunges. Focus on explosive movement for swings and snatches, controlled strength for squats and presses. If you enjoyed this video, then please share with friends and family. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.